an equaliser. Is there a little bit of frustration today that you went behind and you found yourself chasing the game just after you'd had probably your best spell at the start of the second half when you beat them and you were under pressure?
Yeah, I mean, that's the frustrating thing, because there was nothing in it first half, in my opinion, and from both sides, really. Unfortunately, we've got caught giving the ball away high up the pitch, which is something, unfortunately, we've been guilty of a few times with that final pass. We've given it away, and against Leicester in particular, we know how good they are on the break against you. And, you know, we're first real mistake, we've been punished. I couldn't fault the effort and the endeavour, but it's something we have to improve on, because unfortunately, that final little bit is that little bit of quality you need at this level.
It's been a difficult few weeks with all the problems you've had off the field. Is it a relief in some way to have come through this period? And do you feel as a group, as a squad, you'll be in a much stronger position, maybe with some additional...
Well, look, I couldn't fault their effort and their attitude all week against who we're playing against, and especially with the problems we've had. So we're still without two big players for us who still, unfortunately, are a bit away. Especially one of them in the last third can give us that spark, which at times we lack. So, you know, we've just got to be a bit patient. But as I said, the attitude and application of the way the weather gone about all week has been terrific.
You've talked about using the loan market. Could we get anyone in before your next Premier League game? Is that the hope?
Look, I'll say it again. It's notoriously very, very difficult. Whether something can happen in the next week, I ain't too sure about that. But we'll keep plugging away and see. But as I said, I don't think there'll be much activity of what's happened financially across the Premier League. I can't see them being much movement between many. So I expect it to be quiet. If one or two things develop for us, then great. But we'll see what comes over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, if you have a question, can you use the raise hand function now, please? Damien Spellman.
Hi, Steve. It was always going to be a difficult run of games, but you've gone through a spell now where you haven't picked up the points you'd hoped for. What needs to change to get things ticking over again?
Well, we always knew it was going to be difficult. These three games in particular, you know, Man City, Liverpool, Leicester, is a tough ask. But I didn't think we deserved to lose the game today. We know we have to improve in the final pass in the last third, which lets us down at times. But overall, I couldn't have asked for anything more with the attitude and the application of what the players give us.
Chris Woff.
Hi, Steve. Obviously, you were missing Isaac today, and you put the Longstaff brothers back in the midfield. How do you think they played, and what is the... How do you think the balance is working in midfield at the moment? Because you've obviously had quite a few combinations in there in recent weeks, given injuries and the like. What is the sort of balance you're looking for there?
Well, I mean, they've played together, and they played together a few games last year too. So it was a big ask for Matty in particular, because he's played 3 games in a week from nowhere. But they stayed with it. They stuck at it, the pair of them, you know, against 2-3 excellent players in midfield with Ndidi and Tielemans in particular. So yeah, they did fine. I mean, we've had problems. John Joe's hasn't been right for me since his groin operation. So Isaac is suspended today. So I thought I'd go with the 2 Longstaffs, and I thought they did okay.
Scott Wilson.
Hi, Steve. You've obviously caused problems in the last 10 minutes or so with Andy coming on, but before that, Callum probably was fairly isolated at times, and Miguel and Joe probably struggled to get forward maybe as you would have liked. I mean, is that becoming a bit of an issue, not leaving Callum isolated and making sure he's got support up there?
Well, that's what we've tried to do, and try to get higher up the pitch, especially getting after the ball. And but if we're going to be attacking wise, we have to hold on to the ball better. And unfortunately, in the final third in particular, we give it away. We give it away for the goal. We give it away too cheaply, and unfortunately too often. So there's something where we've got to improve on. We have to be better in the final third, and that is always the hard part. You know, that's where you look for that little bit of quality. And unfortunately today, we didn't see enough of it.
Lee Ryder.
Steve, Andy Carroll obviously got his first goal since he returned to the club. How much of a unit can he be in the next month or so?
Well, I'm delighted for him. I'm delighted for Andy. He's been a bit frustrated because he hasn't been in the team, I would have thought, but he's come on and reminded us of what he can do. So a great finish. And you know, there was a one just in the second. It was a John Joe played along the 6-yard box where we're urging for somebody to tap in. But Andy came in and give us something else up front, which is always good to have.
And last one for us, Miles Stafford.
Hi, Steve. You switched to a back five. How do you see this system working for you? Is this
well? I've said it now that against the bigger teams in the division, I think it suits us. It keeps us in the game. As I've said to the other people there, we give ourselves a chance in the game. We have to improve in the final third, and that's something which obviously, you know, the final pass to take care of the ball better, that little bit of quality is unfortunately today in particular was missing, and but we'll have to keep working on it. It's the hardest part of the game, of course, and getting that balance right, which is always right. We probably had the best spell of a game in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and give the ball away cheaply, and got punished for doing that.
You raise your hand again, Mark. Follow up.
Yeah, just Jamal Lewis. Has he got a problem, or is he just having a breakout of the?
Unfortunately, he had he picked up a knee injury yesterday in training. We don't think it's anything too badly, but obviously it's swelled up overnight, so he wasn't available.
Lee Ryder raised the hand again.
Yeah, Steve, just on the loan market, obviously there's some names have been put out there already. Is anything necessarily close?
Names like who? I haven't seen it. Like who?
Shoudbury from Leicester, Williams from Man United.
That's news to me.
Okay. And last one, Craig Hope.
Steve, you talked about quality there. Was that the difference in terms of Leicester? What do you make of them? There were two good finishes. What do you make of Leicester and where they're at right now?
Well, they're a very good side. They've been a very, very good side now for a good few years, haven't they? And that little bit of quality at the top end of the pitch, you leave yourself exposed, give the ball away. 2 passes, they're in at your goal, and it's then the first goal is so important. But obviously, Barnes, Vardy, and the kid Maddison behind them are top draw. So that's that quality you look for. What gives you the edge?
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.